Our next speaker opens with a line, God doesn't create ordinary. He creates masterpieces. This afternoon, we have a woman who has spent over 25 years leading billion-dollar companies from the C-suite, speaking on stages across the globe, and coaching women and executives to lead with courage and accountability. She is a TEDx speaker, an executive coach, and a nonprofit champion. This August, she's releasing her debut book, Fierce and Accountable, Lessons in Leading Out Loud. But more than any title, she is here today with one mission: to challenge every one of us to stop nibbling at life and start devouring it.
If y'all could put your hands together and please welcome my new friend, Michelle Lucero. Come on, energy, people. Woo! They're pulling us at the end of the day here so we can keep this energy going, right? A little red hot chili pepper. Right, come on now. Here we go. Thank you, gentlemen. Well, this is the end of the day, but it is actually the beginning, right? We are going to have today, you heard a little bit about what I do, and absolutely blessed to come and talk to each of you today. And you might think, oh, this chick is going to talk about lessons about business or some of the leadership tips that you got from some of the people that I'm blessed to coach. And you'll get those. You're going to get those splintered in here and there. Because a little piece again about who I am, what I'm about. I've been blessed to have 62 years on this planet, right? Yes. My mother died at the age of 63, so when I become 63 in one day, there's going to be a celebration, and you all are invited, right? Small town. I come from a town of about 1,000. I say it's 1,000 counting the cats and dogs. I'm one of 11 children. I'm the 10th of 11 and the favorite. Just ask my brothers and sisters. They're not going to deny that. As you heard, C-suite, all this other fancy stuff, nonprofit champion. I love giving back to this world. Love, love, love this. But I wanted to talk to you about something else, right? And so this started about a couple of years ago when I was doing my daily Instagram scroll. We all do it, right? And that algorithm teaches us something. And what that algorithm taught me is the stuff I like. Motorbikes, mountain biking, jumping off cliffs, jumping out of planes, swimming with sharks, mangoes, tacos, and empowering messages, right? Scripture messages. And one person came up, Simon Sinek. And tell me if you've heard about Simon Sinek, right? So Simon had what he called a friend test. And I thought, well, this is interesting, right? And so what he did is he said, I challenge you all out there to ask all of your friends 2 questions to see if you are actually bringing value to their life, right? Because we think that. We're like, you know what? I hope this is a 2-way street with this friendship, but I'm not sure. So I thought, you know what? This is kind of crazy. I'm going to be writing this book. It's about accountability. I hope that I'm showing up in the way that I think I'm showing up. So I'm going to ask my friends this question. So what I did is I sent out emails. I had phone calls. I talked to as many of my friends as I could, and I asked them 2 questions. Those questions I asked them were, why do you enjoy being around me? Now, when you ask that, you better have some semblance of expectation that they enjoy being around you. Otherwise, hold back on that one. No, just joking. You want to do that one. The second one was, what does this relationship do for you, right? Because you hope that you bring value. You know that that friendship brings value back to you. So I asked these 2 questions, and I sent them to all my friends, and they were wonderful. The answers started coming in. I started crying. It was a beautiful thing. And then I got one from a friend of mine. And let me tell you a little bit about this friend. Her name is Dr. Janine Davidson. And she's a bit, excuse the language, she's a bit of a badass. And I'm going to say why she is. She is the first female pilot to fly a tactical C-130. Exactly, right? She was the undersecretary of the Navy. She was the kind of person that when she went into, she applied for the Navy, and they said, no girls should apply here. She goes, that's okay, I'll go fly for the Air Force. So what she did is she sent me back this note, and she said, this is what the value is that you bring to my life. She said, everything that you do is bigger with you. You eat life. Whether we're climbing volcanoes, which we've done, whether we've been swimming with dolphins, which we've done, or whether we have been jumping out of a plane with Navy SEALs. Done that too. I know, right? If you want to do it, I got the hookup. So she went on to say, everything about what you do, your spirit, your whole, is you lean completely into it. You eat life. So I thought, you know what? We all should be eating life. Everything about us should be. We should be using those God-given talents to eat life on every way, shape, and form. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. And I'm going to go super fast because I'm going to be within this 15-minute clock. And we're going to get your notes out because we're going to go fast, all right? They're going to be in 5 buckets. And we're going to talk about how you're going to eat life. So the first one is under that bucket of feeding your mind and your spirit, all right? Now, I'm going to talk about some things that you've heard from a number of speakers today. And remembering what our friend Mishan just said, that brain map, we got to be doing this over and over again to develop that habit. So you're going to be hearing some of these that sound very consistent. The first one is celebrate. You heard my friend Deb say this earlier. We do not celebrate enough. And I'm talking the little stuff, right? We tend to celebrate the big ones. Our wedding, our anniversary, our birthdays. How about celebrating that you woke up today? Amen, right? Celebrate that I can pay my bills this month. Celebrate not only that I bought a house, but guess what? I can take that loan out and I don't need a cosigner. Celebrate. We need to celebrate more every one of those moments in our life. Celebrate. Next, I need you to read every day, right? When we stop learning, we stop leading. It's called the learner's mindset. People like Warren Buffett, Brene Brown, they tend to read. And when I say read, it's podcasts, it's audiobooks, 5 hours a week. That is their mindset, 5 hours a week. Get into the habit of reading at least 5 hours. It will make a difference in your life. Next, this one's a given, people. Pray every day. Now, I don't want you to be you can pray how you want. The piece is pray. What I encourage you to do is pray for gratitude, right? What do we tend to do? We say, Lord, help me, give me this, I need this. How about just waking up in the morning and saying, thank you, Lord. Thank you. Thank you for giving me one more day. Pray in gratitude. Next, we're going to go fast here, guys. Ask questions. Oh, goodness, I love this one. How many times do especially women say, I don't want to look stupid? Guess what? It's better to look uninformed than to be uninformed. Ask those questions. Be curious. Ask about everything. And when we're doing that, listen. How many times do we listen to respond versus listening to understand? We want to respond, we want to object, we want to do all these kinds of things. And believe me, I know that. I'm a lawyer by training. I love to argue. And it has taken a mind shift change for me to stop and say, I need to listen to truly understand you. I'm going to shut my mouth. Mishan said this, sometimes you just got to quiet and listen. My next bucket, courage. Oh, we heard Dan talk about courage, right? This is my favorite. Remember what I was talking about, jumping and all these other pieces to it? I love me some courage. And again, you heard about this at the beginning of the day. You've heard about it through many of the speakers, and you're going to continue to hear it because we're going to make a habit of this. Try new things, right? How many of us have said, geez, I'd like to learn how to bake? Or, man, I want to learn how to, shoot a bow. Or I want to learn how to plant a garden. I stink at planting a garden. Another piece is I've been saying for years, I want to learn how to play the banjo. Guess what I'm doing this year? Learning how to play the banjo. Because that's what my mama wanted me to do before she died. She died 30-some years ago. I still need to learn how to play that banjo. Try new things that will push you. That will be that risk-taking that you're going to hear me talk about here in a second. And goodness gracious, get uncomfortable. We do not learn until we are at that edge of comfort, right? A few years back, I went and I actually lived on an island in the middle of the ocean all by myself. Talk about uncomfortable, right? But I did this deliberately because I said, you know what? I live in this world that's comfort. Now, mind you, I grew up poor as dirt, one of 11 kids. You know, there were many weeks that my mother, we wondered, what we were going to eat. It was more potatoes and beans because you can make a lot of them, and they fed a lot of people. But as we get older, that type of discomfort can turn into something we can deliberately lean into. And when we deliberately lean into it, we grow. We absolutely grow. Push yourself to be uncomfortable. Here's that one I talked about, ladies. Take risks. How many times have we heard, men tend to take risks and women don't? I hear it all the time. But here's the thing. It's not like we don't know how to take them. We've actually been encouraged not to take them. So I encourage you, lean in and take risks. I am one of the biggest risk takers. And guess what? God's got me every time, right? Lean in and take those risks. When we do that, let me just give you one quick statistic. There's a big consulting group called McKinsey. I don't know if you guys have heard of. So McKinsey did a study, and what they did is, and this is first having to do with when we get that first job and we go and we are given a salary. Men, for the most part, will negotiate it. Women, for the most part, will say, thank you. When we don't negotiate that initial salary, we can lose over the lifetime of our career up to $500,000. I teach women, there are ways that are respectful and authentic to you to negotiate that salary. So that next job you get, that next promotion, that next client you get as a small business owner, I want you to negotiate. And negotiate for yourself. Remember, greed does not mean that you're unholy. It just means that you're looking out for yourself or your family. So take risks. Kick fear. Oh, my friend Dan talked about this. Fear, I say kick it in the teeth. Right? That fear component hits something in our brain, and it will cause us to do one of two things. It will either cause us to stop in our tracks, or it will cause us to move forward with fuel. I need you to take that fear and turn it into fuel, all right? No more fear. When it comes into you, you need to kick it out and use it as fuel. Don't quit. Goodness, this is what I taught my kids. I said, honey, I don't care what you started, you are not quitting. Because quitting is a habit that we cannot afford to learn. No quitting. Let's get to the next one. Oh, I'm looking good, Scott. We're going to get there. Feed your relationships, right? I'm not saying networking. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But first, let me talk about your circle. Jim Rohn talked about this. You guys you probably heard him say, we are the 5 people that we tend to hang around with. So think about those 5, right? You start talking the same, you start visiting the same things, you run in the same circles. Well, if you want to be more godly, hang around godly folks. If you want to be more courageous, hang around courageous folks. If you want to jump off the edge and not have anything to jump to, that risk but is reckless, that's going to happen when you hang out with those folks. So be very cognizant of the people that you hang around with. Choose your circle wisely. Talk. See, I just said don't talk. Now I'm telling you to talk. It's a good lawyer in me. We're going to argue both sides of it. When I say talk, I'm going to push you a little bit. Talk to people you don't necessarily agree with their point of view. Right? And you're not going to try to change them. They may not try to change you, but I'll tell you, our country is so polarized because we just don't even want to listen to one another. That doesn't mean that I'm going to change, that you're going to change her, but every now and then we might find something that we have in common. And that might bring us just a little closer together. So talk. And while you're at it, why don't you ask him to come have a meal with you, right? Let's take the moment to share a meal with people we don't necessarily agree with. Again, let's try to find just a little bit of commonality in there, reduce some of that negativity a bit, and then treat people well, right? Many times when they treat you crappy, that's an assessment of what's going on in their life, not how they feel about you, right? Give them that grace. Even though they treat you like that, don't return that favor. Treat people well. Build relationships. We talk about networking. I'm not a network girl. I want to build a relationship with you. Network is very superficial to me, right? When I build a relationship, I know about you. I know about your family. I know what keeps you happy. I know what keeps you up at night. So build those relationships, all right? Ask for help. This is one of the things, especially as women, we don't do, and we don't do it at all. We say, I can do it. Well, I know you could do it. But we were not intended to live on this earth alone. And here's another thing for you. The research shows it's called a helper's high. When I actually ask you for help, you feel better because I can give to you, right? It makes me feel better. So the dopamine starts hitting, and that helper's high says, oh, I can do it. That is one of the lessons I learned the latest in life because I was the serial person. I got this by myself. Now, let's jump on into our fourth bucket here. And with this is going to be all about our purpose, right? Be the best you. We have talked about this, the comparison piece. And what I like to say is comparison is a thief of joy. If I start comparing to you, my joy goes away because I'm just concerned about being you. Comparison is a thief of joy. And be prepared in that purpose. I am a recovering control freak. But the beautiful thing about that is I knew my preparation was 100% about me, right? There was no one else's responsibility, but you need to turn that into a superpower. Be prepared. Be the most prepared person in the room. And if you don't have all the answers, which we don't, be prepared to say, I'll get back to you, all right? Make decisions, guys. Indecision is a decision. And as leaders, our people, our business, our community, our church is looking to us to make decisions. And that is hard for some people. But by doing it, that creates a superpower for you. Next, have boundaries. Denise talked about this a bit. My boundaries are pretty clear. Be ethical, be respectful, and be honest, right? And have those boundaries in relation to your God-given talents as well, and then put them into action. There's only been 2 times in my life that I have left a job because I didn't like it, and I left a beautiful nonprofit that I worked for because I was disappointed, and both of them had to do with leadership, and the leadership did not fall in line with the ethics, the respect, right, and the integrity. Have those boundaries and put them into action. Advocate for yourself. We are children of God, and God has said, look out for everyone else, but we can't do for everyone if we don't take care of ourselves, right? Advocate for yourself. And then the last one on this is see opportunities. See opportunities instead of obstacles, all right? We have something come up, and I saw a quote that said something like, pessimists see suffering and opportunities, and optimists see possibilities in the suffering, right? It's the reverse of it. And so the last one, told you we'd go fast, right? Last one is absolutely feed your joy. Laugh, right? Laugh until your sides hurt. And you got to laugh at yourself. And this is going to be the first time I've told this story because it was something I was so embarrassed for the longest time. I was with another gentleman that we were in a nonprofit we were part of, and I was so excited, and I was talking, and we were talking about scripture, and I said, according to Philippians, and he kind of went along with it, and the people, and they started snickering, and I'm like, and I just knew it was Philippians, right? And they're like, we're not talking about your ovaries. We're going to talk about... So you got to laugh at yourself, guys. You have got to laugh at yourself. Get outside. Get outside every day. I don't need to say that for folks here in Midland. I'm saying this because that's part of who we are. Don't do the Instagram scroll and look at the mountains and the seas. No, get outside every day. That vitamin D is so important to you. It's going to keep you healthy. And jump. What I mean about jumping, I mean is to take that risk, to do everything you can, to look over the edge of a cliff and decide that you are going to do something that is risky, that is courageous, and that when you do this, you know that you are jumping into something that the good Lord is going to catch you, right? That you're going to experience something that they have never been able to experience before. It will take your breath away, as my friend Karen was talking about, and you will find yourself living that risk, right? So, some of you may say, you know what, I'm not wired that way, Michelle. I don't know how to do that. Your history is not your destiny. Today is the beginning of something different in you. And by doing that, there's one thing I want you to do. One thing. I ask of you, do not leave this weekend and go back to the same life unchanged. Right? Woo! Amen. So here's your little piece of homework. I want you to write down on those tablets of yours, those beautiful tablets, 3 things that you're going to do to eat life from your perspective. In relationships, in courage, in joy, in purpose. Write those down. And then what I want you to do is take that out every day. Read it. Think about it. The research shows that when you do that, you are more likely to accomplish it. So, 3 things. What are you going to do to eat life today? And then the last thing I ask of you is, I want you to stand. And I want you to cheer as long as and as loud as you can, because of the masterpiece that is sitting next to you and the masterpiece you see in the mirror. So go eat life, ladies. I'm not jumping off the stage yet. Let me tell you why, because I get to introduce, go ahead and sit down, or you're going to want to jump up again, because part of this eating life is that we're going to continue to grow, and we're going to continue to develop. So I get to invite on the stage Dan and Kelly to talk about how this growth can continue from today. So here they are. Thank you all.